Good evening, guys. I have a bit of a challenge for you and something that I struggle with a lot myself in just practicing to keep this thought in mind. When we're looking at different situations that can present a challenge or maybe an obstacle, something that's not quite so comfortable for us, how can we look at that situation to see what it's teaching us versus what it's taking from us? And I really thought loud and clear with this situation about my own illness and just looking at it to say, what did you teach me versus what did you take from me? There are so many times that I will share my story with someone. A lot of times, when I'm connecting with them about Lyme or they've reached out for help, I will start to share with them a little bit more about my story. And they're like, oh man, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That must have been really horrible. And my initial reaction any longer is actually, no, it really wasn't. It was one of the greatest teachers that I've ever had in my life. And I'm very grateful for what has happened to me because I do realize what it has given to me. Maybe people will see it as what it has taken from me. And I will say there are many times when I would look back and see certain areas of my life that didn't necessarily come to fruition the way that I thought they would. And I felt many times that was because of the illness and I could blame it on that. But I've taken a couple steps back from that and actually more look at it from the perspective of everything has worked out exactly how it should be. And again, these situations that happen to us that sometimes aren't comfortable or easy can be our greatest teacher. Or maybe we're dealing with a person who drives you bananas and you just don't want to talk to that person anymore, but maybe they're related to you or something like this that you can't get away from them. And really, I think a better way to approach that person is to see them more as a teacher, or even better yet, as a mirror of ourselves, to see what it is potentially inside our own self that is not healed or at rest or at peace. And by looking at things this way, again, I have attained such greater inner peace, which I really do think breaks down the walls and barriers for true healing to begin. When we can approach life more from a place of ease and love, as opposed to fear and hatred and anger, things just become a lot more easy. So when we're coming back into our lives after a nice holiday weekend, we're coming back into situations that maybe aren't quite as relaxing. When we are up against the wall, think about this. What are you learning from this situation? How is this possibly expanding you or causing you to grow? Versus what is this taking from you or leaving you exhausted with? And I know it can be a lot more easily said than done, especially again when it comes to something like our health, because when we don't have our health, almost seemingly it's like nothing else matters, at least from my own experience. But when we start to gradually shift that perspective and that inner situation and we come to greater peace, I really do think that's when a lot of the own inner healing can begin, which does help again to remove the illness ultimately in the end. And again, I'm only speaking from my own personal experience, but what can we learn from this versus what is this taking from me? Have a great night.